Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Boat from the 19th hole. I got the refresh for tee number 2, which is for the Pro and the Expert for the upcoming Safari Sunrise Tournament. This is the Acacia Reserve course, and you can find it for practice on Tours 4 and Tours 9 if you feel like trying to find the holes and give a little practice in before the tournament starts on Monday. We're going to start with hole number 1, which is a par 4, and off the tee box we'll be starting with a plus 10% elevation adjustment, which means you're just going to add an extra 10% onto your wind value before you adjust for your wind. Full right spin, a couple bars of top spin is the way we play this shot. We're trying to go up into that second little fairway off the bounce, and you want to try to get up into the right on that fairway. That's going to give you the best and straightest shot towards the hole for your second shot. And you can do that really with any driver you want. In this example, you just see me using the extra mile. But if you have some other more developed drivers as well, like the Thor or the APOC, you can use that as well. Didn't use any curl here on this shot. If you have a right to left wind, then you may want to use a little bit of curl on the shot. Alright, so for the second shot here, you're playing this one most likely with either long iron or short iron. I do have the Goliath in, so I will be playing this shot with the Goliath. So you want to find a shot, your club distance, which for me, I'm pretty close to min on this shot. I would say maybe 20-25% club. We're going to add a little bit of backspin on the shot. We'll play plus 10% for this shot, and we're just going to line this one up with the hole. We got 3 backspin on this shot, so we just need a little bit of room between the pin and the end of that ball guide. We make our adjustment for the shot. Now we just want to hit perfect, which we do. Comes in, bounces nicely, and it drops for the eagle. Hole number 2 is up next. We'll be playing this par 5, bouncing the ball over from the first to the second fairway. I'm using a katana ball because I do want that side spin 3 category. So if you're playing maybe expert division, you're definitely going to want to look at maybe the Kingmaker to take that wind down even farther. So max right spin, we want some top spin to get up into the top right side of that fairway, but we want to make sure we don't use too much top spin where we don't roll through that second fairway and into the rough or the bunker. With right to left wind, we're going to use a good amount of right curl on this shot, and we're going to bounce it over quite nicely, and as you can see, this ball rolls up into the right into the fairway and pretty far up. So for the second shot here, I recommend a club with distance. I like the big dog here. The Cataclysm would work well as well. Once you get into the tournament and we see what kind of wind we have, then you can really start to dial in this shot and find out whether or not maybe a sniper will be sufficient for this shot or not. More than likely, you're going to be using a longer wood, which means the Cataclysm or the big dog. Plus 20% is our elevation here for this second shot, and this is a tough Albatross attempt, but it is definitely a possible Albatross attempt. We did hit a bad great left on this shot, but as you can see, we still had it aimed up pretty good, where even a great left got myself on the green. Unfortunately, we were just unable to see how close that would have been to the hole if I had hit the perfect, but plus 10% on the drive, plus 20% on the second shot. Hole 3 is our first par 3 on this course, and I play this shot with plus 10%. Is the way I play this hole. We're playing it at max distance with our club. I do have a Sniper 8 here in the Pro, and that kind of presents a little bit of an issue for me here on this this headwind shot. As you can see, when I go to adjust my shot, I do adjust like a tad bit into overpower. So if you don't have a little bit higher level of a sniper with more yardage, then in that case, if you're unable to, unwilling to play your shot in OP, then you would need to, increase your ball. You would probably need to go up to a power 3, like a Kingmaker or something like that. We made it work. As you can see, the shot came in really nicely, and we got really close to the ace on the shot. I'm going to show you one more example of this hole, except this time I'll be using Sniper 10, And also it'd be a tailwind example. But still be playing plus 10% here for the elevation. As you can see, I'm still using a katana ball even in this example. What we're going to do here is we're going to put in our spins. Do keep in mind that the green is a severe left to right slope, and once you do get over the edge of that green, the ball does roll downhill, so you don't really need a whole lot of momentum on this shot for this shot to really get to that hole once you get it over the edge of that green. Plus 10% we made for our adjustment, and we hit this one perfect. This one's going to come in really nicely, and as you're going to see, it comes in with perfect speed, just getting over the edge of that hill and rolling down to the hole for the ace. Alright, we got hole number 4 here. This is a par 4. We'll be playing this tee shot at plus 10% from the second tee. And as far as the club goes, Extra Mile, Apoc, Thor, all good choices for this hole. You want a club with accuracy and topspin. You want to get this ball as far up that fairway to the left as possible. The better your drive, the better second shot you have, and you have a better chance to drop the eagle. So we'll make our adjustment here, max adjustment plus 10% on the tee box. I am using a katana ball. You could use a kingmaker if you wanted to use a kingmaker here as well. It would help cut down the wind a little bit on the drive and for the second shot. But as you see, right up the middle of the fairway, it's going to put us in perfect position here for our second shot. So we're sitting in good position. For the second shot here, we're playing 0% elevation. I have a thorn. You could also try this in a hornet. With the hornet, you could even try for the hornet rough bump. We'll play 0% here for this second shot. What I'm doing there is trying to find the percentages of my club. I find my min and my max, and then we're at about mid club here on this shot. So 3 to 4 bars of backspin here for this shot, with the ball guide going to the hole. And as you see, we got this one lined up here. We're going to make our adjustment at our 0%. And we played this one at mid. And this one may have been a little bit under mid, because as you're going to see, we maybe over-adjusted this one just a tiny bit, coming in just to the front left-hand side of the hole. So maybe it was like a 40% club instead of a mid club, but just things you learn when you're playing. Alright, hole number 5, our next par 3. This hole right here is a fun par 3 because you can play for the rough bump. So plus 10% for this rough bump pretty much puts you at 1-to-1 for your adjustment. So you just take your wind and you play a 1-to-1 adjustment for those rings. So 6.3 wind would be about 6.3 rings for this shot. You want to line your shot up. As you see on this example, I have my red ring touching the edge of the rough line there. And I'm going to show you a second example, actually, of this hole as well. So I want you to see what happens with the red ring touching the edge of the rough line. It's going to come in, as you're going to see, it lands exactly where we aimed it, but it lands, a little bit farther back in the rough. It gets a weird bounce and doesn't get quite as true of a roll as it showed on the ball guide. I'm going to show you this one more time. This time you will actually see me aiming my shot closer up to the edge of the rough line. Instead of the red ring, we will use the old yellow ring. Same type of technique, we will spin our shot to the hole, which usually ends up to be about 3 bars of top spin and a good amount of right spin. Definitely want a side spin 3 ball on this hole to be able to get the full side spin capabilities to really spin this ball guide to the hole. A little bit less wind as well. That may have helped on this shot. Only 4.5 wind, so we only did like a 4.5 ring adjustment. But 10% mid is the adjustment we are playing here. And this time, as you can see, we drop it. Alright, we got hole number 6 is next. This one is a par 5. Definitely a chance for getting an Albatross. So off the tee box, we'll be playing plus 20% elevation from the second tee. Driver-wise, you want a driver that can get you over that rough if you can. If you have a headwind or a side wind and you can't play this shot, then you'll play it to the left-hand side of that left fairway. But if you can play it to the right, it's definitely the best way to play it. You want to try to get your shot up there to the right on that fairway behind that bunker, and that's going to give you a straighter on a second shot towards the green. Be careful on this drive. You don't want too much topspin because you don't want to roll too far through this fairway. You want to roll just enough and not too far because you don't want to end up in that bunker. So for our second shot, we'll be playing with a sniper, and we'll be playing a plus 10% adjustment. And what we're doing here is we'll be playing our shot here at mid distance, which with a level 8 sniper, plus 10% mid is going to be just about 6 rings of adjustment. So it's pretty much just like a 1-to-1 adjustment here with this shot from mid distance. So we put our spin on. We have our ball guide going to the hole with our second bounce off of the green, as you can see, and then rolling onto the green with that nice line towards the hole. We make our adjustment there, about 6 rings for 6 miles per hour wind, and then we make our shot. We hit this one perfect, as you can see, a nice bounce, and it gets a nice roll. That second and third bounce right before the green, and it dropped for the Albatross. So definitely good luck. Hopefully you all can dial this one in and get the Albatross as well. Hole number 7 is next. This one is a very tough par 3. There's all different kinds of elevations that got thrown out here for this hole. The way I played this shot was it's pretty much 25% club, and I played 50% elevation. Yes, 50% elevation. I know there are other people playing 30, 40, 20. In this example, though, I played 25% club, and when I work out the ring numbers, it was definitely 50% elevation. There are definitely other ways to go at this hole, possibly with other types of elevation numbers, but all I can do is tell you how I played this hole on this shot, which was 25% club, 50% elevation. 6.5 ring was the pool number. Comes in nicely, as you can see, really close to the hole. But all in all, hole number 7 is going to be an extremely difficult hole to ace in the tournament. And I really would say that's one of those ones that you just want to make sure you don't screw it up and land in that bunker or something. All right, hole number 8. Playing this one plus 10% off the tee box. We're just trying to get up and to the right here on this shot. If you have like an APOC or something like that, it's definitely going to be a hole for the APOC, maybe even the Thor. It really comes down to wind direction and how much curl you do need for the drive. This is definitely a hole where you could possibly get to the green in one shot if we have, a good enough wind. So we use topspin and right spin here with all of our curl with our extra mile, and we hit this one up really nicely up the fairway. Plus 10% on the drive, and as you can see from my second shot, I am right there, just right there in between clubs on this shot. I would really prefer to use the thorn on this shot. There's no doubt about it. So it was either one of those things where I could use the thorn and use a good amount of backspin, or I could drop it back to my end bringer and use a little bit of topspin, but I think have a little bit better control of the ball on the shot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our end bringer. We're going to put a little bit of topspin in here. We're going to use that ball guide and line it up with the hole as best as we can. Trying to take in that roll into consideration. And we played plus 10% max end bringer here on this shot. And it's going to come in really nicely with the perfect hit. It hits, it rolls, and it's going to drop dead center of the cup. So we played that one at plus 10% elevation with the end bringer, and that was a max adjustment. Hole 9, we end this one with a par 5 and definitely an Albatross opportunity. So with any kind of side or headwind, you may possibly have to skip the shot over this rough, but with tailwind, we can go directly over the rough in the air. You definitely want to use a driver with a good amount of power to do this, because getting the ball up this fairway is definitely ideal and crucial to set yourself up for the second shot here. So that is definitely a good distance right there, 428 yards. All right, so for the second shot here, sniper is definitely what you want to play. You want to land this shot up close to the edge of the fringe line and the green, or I mean the rough line. So we got the ball guide to the hole. We didn't even have to touch our spins. We're playing this one at 0%. As you can see, we check our club distance. We're playing it right at mid-club. So 0% elevation, mid-club is our setup here for this one. We make our adjustment, and then since we adjust down the hill, we're actually going to put this one about a half a ring push-up, just to take into account for the downhill adjustment that we made on the shot. Hit this one, it bounces perfectly where we aimed it. As you see, we get the roll, and we finish it off with the Albatross, which is definitely going to be the absolute best thing you could see at the end of your round when you play the tournament. Alright, y'all, thank you very much for joining me for this refresh for T2, which is for Pro and for Expert. Definitely Expert's going to see a little bit higher winds. I would definitely assume each division will see different types of wind directions, but definitely this is a way to refresh yourself. Good luck to you all. Get out there, practice Tours 4, Tour 9, and God bless.